My name is Melissa, and I am a designer. For the past 3 years, I've been running my studio, Strong Design, and I feel incredibly blessed to be able to get to do what I love all day, every day. However, running a studio is not easy. It's actually one of the hardest things I've ever done. I probably put in 60 to 70 hours a week, and as much as I love that work, I realized around a year in that working that much, that hard, will burn you out real fast. So I started to think about, what can I do to kind of counteract this burnout, all this having to be like creatively on, it wears on you after a while. I wanted to think of something that I could do to create just for the sake of creating, just for the sake of making them, something using my hands rather than just using a mouse or a computer, right? Needed to find an outlet for my creative expression. So this is the story of that search. When I began my search, I started thinking about what I was looking to do, and I was really inspired by the work of Lisa Congdon, Paul Juno, lots of other kind of abstract artists, at the looseness and the color and just the fun and what seems to be spontaneity in their work. I thought that was just amazing, and I wanted to find a way to do that too. So the first experiment I tried was typography and lettering. Like many designers, I am a letter geek, love letters, and so I'd been kind of watching letters for a while and wanted to dip my toe in this. So I started kind of digesting everything that I could about lettering. I took some Skillshare classes, I read all these articles, I bought tons of books. I started doing some sketching and kind of learning how to lock up type into kind of a piece of art, I guess you'd say. And I produced a handful of pieces that I was pretty happy with. But in the end, it just didn't stick for me. I think that the problem was that it's a pretty tedious thing, and I think I needed to find something that had quite a bit less tedium. So I moved on to calligraphy, which in some ways was a step in the right direction, and others it was not a step in the right direction. So I took a Skillshare class again and just kind of picked it up real fast and fell in love super fast. And although calligraphy is a much looser way to make letters, after you kind of overcome the initial fun of that and you start to want to make some real interesting compositions, that whole tedium thing sets in real hardcore because you don't even have an eraser. So I ended up kind of dropping calligraphy as well. Then I got this book for my birthday and started making paper flowers, which I was in love with again for about a month. Everyone for Christmas got flowers on their packages, and then it kind of passed away. I think it was just too much fuss, too much mess, and maybe too restrictive of a medium. So I moved on to watercolor. I'd loved watercolor for a long time, and I was really excited to start playing around with this. So the type geek in me starts with some typographic experiments, but of course I couldn't get the tight level of precision I'm used to on the computer, and so I kind of gave that up, and then eventually kind of came back and started experimenting with some shape, color, form, line work, which I do think was more successful, but eventually that fell by the wayside too. Time will tell if I pick that back up. I've experimented with a bunch of other things, tangles, encaustics, printmaking, all kinds of different things, and I have not yet found my medium that really sticks for me. My most recent experiment has been collage and kind of trying to do maybe some photocopier art with found typography and found pattern. And as much as I have a really cool vision for this in my head, it's so far not panning out, and I'm pretty much on the verge of giving up on that too. Time will tell on that one. So at this point, I have not found my art, which can be kind of frustrating. So being a designer, I want to break it down and try to figure out why isn't this working for me, right? So I've talked to you about a lot of the reasons that I feel like maybe these things weren't clicking for me. And I started to wonder, well, maybe I don't have enough concept. Maybe, true artists have this big concept. But then I look at work like by Mark Rothko, by Michael Cena, and these artists, they are playing, they're experimenting with color, they're experimenting with medium. It's more about finding a zone and pushing it from every direction, which made me realize that it's not about concept. So that can't be the thing that's holding me back. So right now, I still have not found my art. It's frustrating to not find my art, yet at the same time, I find that it can also be really, really exciting to think about that it's still out there. I have yet to find my thing. So I've started to think about my search for art as more of a, maybe my art at this point is simply the experimentation of trying to find my art. And I have a funny feeling that if I keep pushing through, eventually all these things are going to come together in my mind to create something new and exciting. And that is an amazing thought, and I cannot wait to find that. Thank you.